Incy Wincy Spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. So Incy Wincy Spider.
In Dover's night, where shadows fall, a home once safe now chills us all. Whispers haunt, the air so thin, as darkness moves and settles in. The walls would creak, the lights would die. We felt the fear that wouldn't lie. In every corner, shadows grew. In Dover's dark, the terror flew. But the worst we saw, that haunts our minds, was Mom's strange eyes and words unkind. Raw meat torn, her fingers chewed, a sight so dark, our souls subdued. Hey everyone, this is the experience of horrors me and my family faced. The thing is, our whole family had planned a picnic trip to Grafton. My older brother, Jason, and my older sister, Emily, who live in Australia and Canada, respectively, were visiting at the time. So, we all decided to head to Grafton, Illinois together. We booked a car and gathered everyone, cousins, uncles, etc. We planned to go in the evening and stay overnight, since our uncle had connections there. We had arranged for a cabin to stay in. We arrived at Grafton around 5:30 p.m. We got there, unloaded our stuff, and had brought food and other supplies. We were excited and had planned to enjoy our time there. Some family members were visiting for the first time, so they were excited to explore the place. We settled in, and then we performed our evening prayers because our elders, who are quite religious, insisted on it. So we did our prayers and then relaxed outside in a swimming pool, which was located in the lawn of the cabin. It was around 8:30 p.m. or later when we were all sitting outside of the cabin, enjoying in the pool. My sister, who was pregnant, had a room for privacy. The back of the room had a large window that faced the road. The road was deserted at that time, and the cabin was situated a bit higher up from the lower area. The room's light was off, and we were outside. Suddenly, we heard Emily scream. We all rushed inside and found her terrified, sitting in a corner. We gave her water and asked what happened. My mother, Carol, told us that Emily had been lying down and saw a shadow standing outside the window. When she turned on the light, there was no one there. She tried to ignore it and lay back down, but she felt as though the shadow had entered the room. She felt something close to her and heard noises as if something was moving. Emily turned around and saw a shadowy figure standing very close to her bed. She was so frightened that she screamed, and we all came running. We brought her to the main area of the cabin, where we had music playing loudly to help distract her. Despite the loud music, suddenly I started hearing crying and screaming noises. I was tired and was lying on a chair near the stairs, using my phone. I was more focused on the music than the noises. I heard sounds as if something was falling and someone was crying loudly. I told my mother about the noises and asked if she could hear them too. She said it might be our cousins outside making noise. I went outside to check, but they were too far away to be the source of the sounds. I came back and suggested to turn off the music. We turned off the music and gathered everyone in one place. As we all were gathered together, my mother and my uncle heard the voices too. It felt like someone was standing near the stairs and watching us from the dark side. I turned on my phone light, but there was no one there. My cousin Dave then said he saw a girl with long hair looking down from the stairs. Eerie and strange events were happening with each family member. Me and Dave went upstairs to check and saw a girl with long hair standing by the wall. We were so scared that we ran back down. As soon as we did, the lights in the cabin went out. The generator wouldn't start, even though it had fuel. We heard loud noises, things falling and crying. The driver, Tom, also heard scratching sounds on the back window of the car. He checked, but saw no one around. Then he noticed that the car tire had burst. Tom was startled and came to inform us. We quickly changed the tire and packed our stuff. We played loud music and tried to drown out the noises. We packed up in a hurry, leaving some things behind. We put the spare tire on and got in the car. While driving away, my driver saw a girl running alongside our car at high speed. The driver was scared and didn't stop. We were all praying and relieved when we finally got home safely around 1 or 2 a.m. We were so terrified that we forgot about the food and didn't eat. We were in shock and couldn't sleep. We kept wondering what had happened, but the worst was yet to come. After we got home, we noticed something was seriously wrong with my mother, Carol. She seemed distant and disconnected. 2 to 3 days later, we had a gathering at home. My brother and sister were present. My father brought raw meat to be stored in the fridge. The fridge was in front of my room. Everything was normal, but when the gathering got off, I randomly just came out of my room and saw my mother eating that raw meat like piece of chocolate without any hesitation. I was scared and starting screaming. My father ran towards the kitchen and we stopped her by force. Maybe she was possessed, we don't know. She ate it with extreme hunger that was horrifying to witness. The next morning, we found her in the bathroom where she had started chewing on her own fingers. It was the most disturbing thing we've ever seen. She looked at us with a wild, vacant stare, as if she wasn't even aware of what she was doing. We rushed her to the hospital, but the doctors couldn't explain her behavior. They suggested it might have been a psychological break, but none of us were convinced. We've never been able to understand how she could have been so affected by that night. The experience left us all deeply shaken and scared. To this day, we are haunted by that night. The cabin in Grafton remains a haunting memory, and we avoid speaking about it. We never found out what really happened, but the sight of my mother's possession and the terrifying events of that night have stayed with us.